Hi there, today we're learning about switch statements. So switch statements, they're similar to if statements. They are a decision structure within programming. They're great for matching conditions, but they're not so great for expressions. You can't use them for expressions. An expression is something like, x is greater than 2, or x is less than or equal to 5. But you can use them to match conditions. If, let's say, x equals 1 or x equals a. So they're good for that type of stuff. If you've programmed in Visual Basic, a switch statement is basically the same thing as a select case statement. And in Java, we normally use the int data type and char character data type with switch statements. So let's look at this demonstration that we have. Kind of already created part of this demo. First off, notice that I'm importing the JOptionPane class. So this is going to be a program that uses the dialog box. Right here, we've got our class heading, and then we've got our main method heading. First thing I did was I declared some variables for this program. I've got an integer variable called int_number. I've got a string variable called strinput. I've got a character variable called char_choice. So the first thing I do is I welcome the user to the program. The user, of course, is the person that's using this program. So JOptionPane show message dialog. You got to put this null in there, and then welcome to the switch statement demo. And then we're going to get a number from the user. It's going to say strinput JOptionPane show input dialog. What will you do this weekend? Type 1, 2, or 3. So when we're using switch statements have to either have a number like int, or a character that holds one character, and we use the char data type for that. So right here we're grabbing a number. We put it first into strinput because we can only return strings from JOptionPane, and then I'm parsing that string of text into an actual number, and it's going to go into int number. So here is the beginning of our switch statement. So we're going to say switch parentheses int number. So we're grabbing this information right here, and then we're going to create our switch statement. So we've got our braces. We're going to say case 1, and this is a colon, not a semicolon, but a colon. We're going to say JOptionPane dot show message dialog, and we're going to say this needs to be null. We're going to say you will go see a movie. Let me make this a little bit wider here. There we are. So notice that we're asking the person, what will you do this weekend? Type 1, 2, or 3. If they type 1, it's going to go in there, and then according to our switch statement, whichever one of these cases is 1, it's going to do the following. So you will go see a movie. Now, if they type 2, we need to say case 2 JOptionPane dot show message dialog. We're going to say null. We're going to tell them you will go on a date. Case 3, if the user types 3, JOptionPane dot show message dialog null. We're going to tell them you will go to Six Flags. Alright. And we need to have a default. This is the equivalent of an else, which is kind of like the catch-all in a if-then-else statement. We're going to say default. So let's say our user types 0 or 4 or something else. We need to have an option for that. So we're going to say default show message dialog null, and we're going to tell them you will do homework all weekend. Semicolon at the end of that statement. We change that to lowercase o. There we are. So here's our switch statement. And notice it all lives within these two braces. So if I run this, it's not going to quite work right. And here's why. So welcome to the switch statement demo. What will you do this weekend? If I type 1, you will go see a movie. You will go on a date. You will go to Six Flags. You will do homework all weekend. It does all of these. The reason why is because we did not have any break statements in here. So the break statement tells Java to exit out of the switch statement. So if the user types 1, it'll do this now, and then it'll read this break statement and it'll exit out of the entire switch statement. So now if I run this, so welcome to the switch statement demo. Okay, what we do this weekend, let's say 2. You'll go on a date, and then it exits out. So this is how a switch statement works with a number. You go ahead and grab some code here so I don't have to retype everything. Let me show you how a switch statement works with a character data type. So right here, and this is the second part of our program, I've got str input equals G option pane show input dialog. Type one of the following letters, A, B, or C. So I'm telling the user to type A, B, or C. This statement right here is going to return whatever letter they type into str input. I can't put this str input into these parentheses right here because the switch statement has to either have a number like integer or it needs to have a character data type. So I'm going to use my character variable right here called char choice, and I'm going to use this method called char at. This right here it says char at 0. This 0 means, hey, grab the first letter in whatever this string of text is. So let's say somebody types in the word crow. This char at method is going to read the first letter because in Java this 0 is the first character in the string. It's going to put that into this variable right here, so it'd be C. If I did char at 2, it would return O for the word crow. So we grab the first character for whatever our string was, put it into char choice, and now we say switch char choice. So I've got this case statement right here. Case A. Notice I used a single quote for A. I've got a single quote right here that surrounds this A, and I've got a colon right here. And I want this to recognize both uppercase and lowercase. So I did the same here for an uppercase A. So I'm saying if char choice is either lowercase a or uppercase A, do the following. So I've got J option pane, show message dialog, and it's going to tell the user you chose A, you are magical. Then I've got my break statement here. If the case was B or uppercase B, it's going to say you chose B, you are majestic. If it's C, it's going to say, or uppercase C or lowercase c, it's going to say you chose C, you are multi-talented. And it's then going to break out of the statement. And the default is you are mind-boggling. So let's go ahead and run this. It's going to do the first part of this program first. So what we do this weekend, let's just say 2. Let's say 4. You'll do homework all weekend to the default right there. Type one of the following letters. If I do B, capital B, it's going to say you chose B, you are majestic. So just to recap here and do a quick review, we're talking about switch statements. They're great for matching expressions. You cannot use expressions with them. They're great for matching conditions. In the switch statement demo that we did, we used an integer data type and a character data type. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time.